Hello there, I am Tigster2005 of the Prequelgang, and welcome to another episode of Tigster Talks, the show where I talk about stuff by myself. Well, I finally am caught up with the Marvel Cinematic Universe as of January of 2021. Yep, I have finally watched Spider-Man Far From Home, and, first of all, spoilers, of course. I shouldn't have to say it at this point, but spoilers, you've been warned. Onto the video. So, Spider-Man Far From Home. This takes place after Avengers Endgame, so Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, has already, well, he died, and Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is still in high school. He was not existing for 5 years, and now he's back. And now there's another movie about him, and it's a great movie. I really enjoyed Spider-Man Far From Home. Uh, Basically, this movie, it's about him going on this vacation with like some of his, well, not like a vacation, but like a trip with with his school to some places in Europe, and some stuff happens there. Basically, at first we get introduced to a new character called Mysterio, who at first appears to be a powerful hero who's like fighting against these like big elemental monster things, but then it turns out eventually that in fact he is not a hero at all. All of this was fake, using drones and like uh, holographic technology and stuff. And meanwhile, Spider-Man is like he just wants to have a nice little vacation. He doesn't want any of this. Um, but he does step up in the end, and he gets, and also I believe it was Happy who gave him these glasses, Tony Stark's glasses, which had like this AI unit built into it. I forgot what it was called, uh, but basically it was an AI unit that Spider-Man had, which he mistakenly decided to give off to Mysterio, and that ended up being a huge mistake. Uh, but anyway, I think there's not really much that I can say about this movie other than, uh, in part, it is an epilogue to the events of Endgame. Like everyone who was gone is now back. Well, not everyone who was gone. Everyone who got turned to dust by Thanos' snap with the Infinity Gauntlet. They're back, including Spider-Man himself. So that's good. and and like in the process, like they haven't aged at all. So Spider-Man is like he's still 16. Uh, and like there was a joke that was like one of the students there was like ordering some alcoholic beverage, and someone else was like, oh yeah, no, he blipped. I think that's what they called it. So technically he's not 21 yet. He's still 16. So yeah, that was kind of funny. A lot of this movie is just like really funny. It's like the kind of humor that kind of like I like. It's just like high school students just being quirky and fun. It's a funny movie, for the most part. Of course, there's like tension with like Spider-Man against Mysterio and all that, and yeah, and overall, this is just like a fun movie, and I think it's like it does a good job like kicking off Phase 4. I'm pretty sure this movie still counts as the end of Phase 3 and not the beginning of Phase 4, but like after I finished watching Endgame, I thought, wow, I was like this like such a perfect conclusion. Why are they making more movies? And then I watched Far From Home, and I was like, okay, no, I want more. I want more this. Which I'm not sure if that's the best mentality for me to have right now, because like I really enjoyed Spider-Man Homecoming. I really enjoyed Spider-Man Far From Home, and I want more this. But now I'm kind of afraid that they're gonna do what they did with like Thor Ragnarok, where instead of it being more this, in that case referring to like Thor and Thor: The Dark World, it was like something very different. they changed the character's personality and all that, and I hope they don't do that with the third Spider-Man movie, whatever it's gonna be. Spider-Man goes away from home and never comes back, whatever the movie's gonna be called. I mean, it's probably gonna have home in the title. I mean, Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home, so I don't know. Uh, but yeah, Ned is still incredibly funny in this movie. Like, like, like honestly, like Ned is such an important, funny character that like if you didn't have him in these movies, like they wouldn't have been as good. They still would have been really good, but you know, you just gotta have more of the funny, and Ned is more of the funny. uh, I mean, he doesn't tell any teachers that he's looking at porn this time, but like he's still Ned, and I hope to see more of him in future MCU movies. Um, and at the end, there is a recording that is shown like in New York that was like Mysterio's last words. He like makes it look like Spider-Man brutally murdered him, uh, and he made Spider-Man look bad and himself look good. And he also revealed to everyone that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So this is like the moment at the end of Iron Man where where he admits to everyone that he is Iron Man, except this time Spider-Man didn't admit to everyone who he actually is. Instead somebody else forcefully did that for him. So that's where the movie ends. So yeah, the great movie, great movie. There's not really that much to say about it. You just gotta watch it. Like honestly, just well, I mean, if you're gonna watch it, then in order to really understand what's going on, you have to watch like all of the other previous movies, particularly like Endgame. But in order to understand Endgame, you have to watch all of the previous movies. So, except the Incredible Hulk, that one was like not important to the story in the slightest. So you don't really have to watch that one. But yeah. Anyway, I just don't like the fact that the two Spider-Man movies, they're fantastic movies, but because of some like legal copyright issues between like Sony and all that, like they can't have it on Disney Plus, so we had to watch it on like I believe it was Amazon Prime Video. Instead, we had to buy it there. It was only like $8 to buy it, so you know we have it now. We own. You could say we own a digital copy of the movie on this video streaming service. Um, but still, I think it would have been better if Disney could have like bought the rights to these movies to like Spider-Man so that we could have more we could have more of Spider-Man movies without having to like have legal disputes just to have them on Disney Plus so that you know we could just watch them with a Disney Plus subscription. But maybe I'm just asking for too much. Also, I am aware that there was like a Spider-Man trilogy before this, and that was not like there was a Spider-Man trilogy like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. I haven't watched them, and they're not part of the MCU. They're like their own separate thing, and I haven't watched them, so I don't know. Like I don't have an opinion on those. Also, there is an animated Spider-Man movie called Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Again, that's like its own separate thing. It's not a part of the MCU. That's like just its own separate thing. And I have watched that movie once in theaters, and I thought it was a pretty good movie. But to be honest, I think Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home are better. But that's just me though. Anyway, so finally, I am done with the MCU. Well, I'm not done. I mean, there's still going to be more movies coming out, obviously. Um, but what I mean to say is I'm all caught up. There is nothing to watch. Well, there's nothing new to watch until Black Widow comes out later this year, which obviously that's probably going to have to be a prequel given how she dies in Endgame. So, yeah, thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe, hit the bell, turn on notifications, and keep having the high ground. Bye.